All right, guys, how's it going? Well, I thought I better catch up with you with regards to the managerial situation at Anfield. Obviously, the news about Alonso has come out since we last spoke. Very disappointed, to be honest with you. I have absolutely no idea what is happening at that club. No idea at all. I'm very confused. I always thought that Alonso had a good chance of being appointed. There was a number of reasons for that. But I always said that I think there could be, a problem in terms of securing him, depending on who was at the club. So I think there's certain people at the club he may not have, worked with. Is what I mean by that. But Edwards, Hughes, Slot all need their contracts extending, and they haven't been extended yet. So we don't even know who's going to be at the club next season. Many of you feel that Arne Slot's going to be, and admittedly, it does start to, you do start to think that maybe that is going to happen. I haven't seen much from the credible journalists that are saying categorically he will be the manager. I think only Guillem Balaguer has said he will be the manager next year. Now, I know some of you might try and pull me up in the comments section, but a lot of it has been the current way of thinking, or as things stand, or intentions. The likes of Ornstein and Joyce, the only two journalists that I pay attention to regarding Liverpool, have not come out, as far as I'm aware, and said categorically he will be the manager. There may be a new article from Paul Joyce that's come out that I haven't seen yet, but I always thought that there was three possible candidates for the Liverpool job if a vacancy was to present itself. Sebastian Hoeneß is one. Alonso obviously was two. And the third was Nagelsmann. Now, there's been a great deal of chatter out of all those three. Nagelsmann's been the one that has been, that I've received the most messages about, the most things, emails or stuff or whatever. But the Hoeneß one is the one that sounds more like what they would go for, I think. So it's always been those three. I've always thought that if Liverpool, approached Jurgen Klopp and said, "We need you to come back," we would love you to come back, I don't think he would ever turn us down. But again, it depends who's going to be at the club, because I can't see him working with Michael Edwards. So you're probably thinking to yourself, do you still think Arne Slot will be at Liverpool next year? The answer to that is I don't think he will be. But it's not, I'm not telling you, believe me, this is what I know. Because I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't got a clue. But I just can't see how they can keep him. So Alonso's scratched off. He obviously wanted the job. I've received loads of messages, since he left Real Madrid, if you like, and especially in the last few days since his appointment, that he absolutely was waiting for Liverpool. He wanted the Liverpool job. All right. So why did they not appoint Alonso? Is it because someone doesn't, did someone not favour, is the idea of appointing him? Is it because Edwards is staying? Was it to do with, responsibility, roles and responsibility? I don't know. I really don't. And the thing is, Jose Felix Diaz, who is obviously the closest journalist to Real Madrid, he categorically stated that Liverpool had sniffed around him a couple of times in the last few months. Only just over a week ago did Diaz say that Liverpool had approached Real Madrid, so, sort of like to inquire about his, working relation there, how he worked there. But Jose Felix Diaz also said, but they're not convinced. It's not like they're doing this because they're going to give him the job. It was like, not really sure, let's speak to Real Madrid and what the crack is. Was that conversation what resulted in them not pursuing Xabi Alonso? We don't know yet, right? So there was obviously interest in him. It's obviously been discussed internally, as it would be with other potential candidates, and potentially staying with Arne Slot as well. But right now, I think things are very, very confusing for me as a supporter, and I'm sure they are for you too. I wish Alonso the best of luck. It's a weird club that he's gone to. I won't judge him on what he does there, It's a strange club, but I like Alonso. I believe he wanted us, and that'll do for me. I really don't know what more to add, to be honest with you, because I would be speculating. I would be speculating. Um, I did think there was a real good chance of Alonso getting the job. I did, honestly. I really did. But the bits that confuse me is not knowing what the structure is going to be at Anfield, right? And maybe that contributed to the situation. You know, is Edwards staying or is he off? Is Hughes staying or is he off? You know, so there's got to be some stability there, especially when it comes to recruiting players. The club should already be working on recruiting players. You know, I don't think I'd want to sign for a football club under a period of uncertainty. You know, the Richard Hughes signing me, I'd want to know what the next 3 to 4 years were going to be like. What's the plan? And if these people are not tied down on deals, am I signing for Hughes? Am I signing for Slot? Are they going to be there? You know, I find it quite confusing, to be honest with you. So I'm sure, like me, you're disappointed. The one thing I will say is that the only positive I can get from this is that that's now scratched off. So we know it can't happen, right? So, all right, we know it's done. We don't have to sit around wondering anymore. So that's one positive. And now it's not a very good positive, but that's how I look at things. So we can scratch that off. The majority of communications that I've had have been about Nagelsmann, but the Honus one sounds more Liverpool-esque, if you like, I think. If they're going to stick with Slot, why haven't they given him a new deal? I don't know. Are you not confused? Be honest. Help me out here, guys. You know, I genuinely don't know. The mail stand emails, you remind me. I'm sure we had mail stand emails in the last week that was saying that, I'm sure we had an email that said Alonso isn't coming because of a problem with Hughes. I can't remember. There's that much shit being going on. So you're gonna have to remind me. I think the majority of mail stand emails have been more negative about Alonso coming in than positive. But I don't know. I can't remember. And to be honest, does it even matter now? But I would appreciate if you can chime in maybe in the comment section with that as to what you can recall, what the vibe was. I'm sure that the last ones were about Hughes as a problem or something. And there was a couple of messages that I couldn't read to you as well. And certainly one of them was suggesting that Hughes is a problem, but not just with managerial recruitment, but other things as well. So very confusing period for me. Normally, I tend to be able to see patterns and watch what's going on and think, I literally walk around my house all day going, so that's happened. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, yeah, I know. At the moment, I am completely baffled by Liverpool Football Club, completely baffled. Would I like to have seen Alonso appointed? Yes, but I think I'd probably take anyone right now, to be honest with you. Mike Bassett, Bertie fucking Bassett. Anyone. Because I'm not happy under Slot. And I feel that if we go into another season with him, that it'll be a case where he's sacked before the end of the year. So I'm still going to hold out and go with the opinion that I think he'll be replaced. But we need to keep a close eye on these journalists and what they're saying. That is for sure. And you need to comment on here. Joyce put an article out, right? I believe. I haven't seen it. Listen, my weekend has been taken up, with my own football club here. Been busy with that, and as you know, some time with my girl. So I haven't really read anything, to be honest with you. And my enthusiasm is so low at the moment concerning Liverpool. The game the other night, I didn't even watch it, and I was sat next to a fucking great big projector in a bar. I mean, literally as close to the projector as these screens behind me. It was at the side of me, and I was just like, all right, mate, yeah, what are you doing tomorrow? And looking forward to it. The game was on. The only time I looked at the projector was every time I heard a goal. Zero interest in it. And judging by the comments in many of your, judging by the comments from you guys, where I've mentioned similar things that you've all gone completely agree. I didn't watch it either, don't. So I'm still sticking to the opinion of that he will go, but please don't come back to me in 3 weeks, 4 weeks or something. Go, well, that age well, because I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. How could I possibly know what's going to happen? It's just you can't. You can base things on a lot of things you're hearing, but I absolutely believe that as as more recently as just over a week ago that Liverpool spoke to Real Madrid about Alonso. There is no way that Jose Felix Diaz is lying about that. So I'm just wondering if they heard something in that and that went, nah, we'll leave it, because he emphasised that they weren't sure about him. So maybe that's it, you know. I'm not an Alonso fanboy. I would have just liked to have seen him come in, because I'm tired of the football at the moment, and I think that the connection would have been there with the fan base and the city and the club in general. However, I'm open to to the other candidates that that are possibly there. I would keep an eye on the Hunners thing. I'm not sure. I get the impression there's been maybe something online about him in the last 24 hours, because I've seen comments on my video mentioning him a lot. And usually that's when someone's read something. But if you have seen anything to do with him in the last 24 hours or 48 hours since I've been around, it would be helpful to me if you say, yeah, Dunk, there was a report saying this. If you could just tell me where that report was, because I'll know then whether to pay any attention or not. So anyway, I'm going to leave it with you. Live stream. I might do a live stream tonight at 6:30 UK time. I'm covered in bits of dog at the moment. I might do a live stream at 6:30. I'm going out for lunch with my girl shortly. It's her day off on a Monday. And I have, like I say, I've got stacks of mail stand emails for you, which I will try and get out to you as soon as possible. But realistically, it might be tomorrow, because I've got a lot to do today after I've spent a bit of time with my girl. So, all right, guys, I'll leave it with you. I would really welcome your thoughts. I'm sure you're disappointed about Alonso. Maybe you're not really bothered, but listen, as far as I'm concerned, that's now scratched off. So I don't need to dwell on that, all right? So that's gone. So now I'm just focused on, right, well, what's the possibilities now? And of course, the possibility is they may stick with Arne Slot, which if they do, I think will be disastrous. And I think that a lot of people will not be able to get behind the idea. If they appoint, like, I can't even think about summer transfers, because I want to know who's going to be the manager. And if they say he's staying, we get that confirmation, not speculation, or he's definitely staying. I'm not sure I could see any real enthusiasm about the transfer window in the summer, because we could sign any of the best players in the world, if you like, but I'll still be thinking at the back of my head, I can't believe we're going to the season with Arne Slot. So we're going to have to see what happens. We'll stay in touch and we'll debate it. If you don't see me on a live stream tonight at 6:30, then I can assure you, providing I'm live, that I'll be with you tomorrow night at 6:30, and then probably the same all during the week. All right, guys? Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, want to support the channel, whatever, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. Your comments are so important on this one. There's a love out under the video, which is a super thanks. It helps me immensely, as does the channel membership if you join my channel and you become one of the squad. All right, once you do that and you come in the live streams, you get squad. You know what I'm saying? 3 links in the video description, alternative methods of supporting me. I get 100% of that. And obviously the Revolut one is my beer kitty, which is empty now. So I'm starting a new one for next weekend. I'll be here all week with you all being well. You come along, make suggestions in the comment sections. If you see anything, bring stuff to my attention. I read the comments. I'm going out for lunch with my girl, but I can assure you I'll be reading your comments while I'm out. All right, guys, we'll speak in a bit.